All right, welcome back. Special episode, Sammy and Marissa's husbands, but Marissa husband is not here.
Marissa husband is not here.
Marissa husband starting it off strong. He's
Uh,
probably losing his last $100 in Atlantic City. Because for one, there's no way he's making money. For two, he literally has no money because he could only cash at me $3 the other day. My dog's going crazy in the background, so if you hear that, sorry, can't change it. He's a monster.
yeah, what's going on with that? You guys made a $7 bet?
Yeah, we made a $7 bet on Carolina winning the first round against San Diego State,
Yeah,
and
and Carolina won.
Carolina won, so he owed me money. And of course, he didn't send it. I had to remind him politely that he owed me money, and then he cashed out me $2.38.
Was that the remainder in his Cash App or something?
I'm
That had
pretty,
to have been like,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was. He sent me some long text about it and said he'll get me the rest in a second, which shocker, I haven't got. Um, but yeah, so that was the remainder in his Cash App balance, and he doesn't have his card connected or something like that. Likely story.
yeah. Okay, do something about that dog there, guy.
Yeah, fucking, he's blaming his bone, man. I'm just trying to let him live. I took the
I look,
bone.
I know I'm early. I know I'm jumping the gun here. Big pet peeve of mine.
Oh,
When somebody owes you money and then you see them out and about getting their fucking hair done and, eating expensive steak dinners. And then you're sitting there like, hey, guy, what's going on? Then you got to be
yeah.
a dick. You got to be that guy.
Is that pointed at anyone specific? I feel like
Oh,
there's one
no,
in the
no,
group that tends not to.
no. I mean, I haven't, to my understanding, I haven't lent anybody money. I don't even recall giving anybody money,
That's
but
fair.
there's never been a situation. You obviously have somebody in mind.
Could be, maybe not. Not really.
Okay.
It doesn't really pertain to me,
Okay.
but I do have faith in my brethren that he's going to pay me back efficiently.
Well, you better hope that he wins because if he doesn't win, you're not getting that money.
Yeah, I'm probably not getting it regardless anyway. I do technically owe him the 10 from the bracket because it was a $10 buy-in that I haven't sent him. Um, so in theory, we're both in the wrong.
Now, this is tit for tat. You guys made the bet first. He obviously has to send you that money, and then you send him the $10. It has to be transactionally accurate as far as chronological order.
I
It can't
agree
go.
with
It
that.
can't. It can't go out. It can't go out of whack.
I agree with that. He has to send it to me first, or maybe I'll send him like $4.30 or whatever it is.
There you go. That's the trick.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go over the agenda. We're gonna talk a little lives of recent, do an athlete segment, some March Madness, fantasy basketball, little MVP race, random cues, and Pat's peeves. So, what's been up in life?
Not a thing. I'm a modern day slave. I work 24/7. Don't have much of a life. Disney's been super fucking packed lately, so I really haven't been going because it's just not a pleasurable experience.
Yeah, I feel like it's that time of year, right?
It is, yeah. Right. I mean, right now is spring break, so there's not a chance in hell I would even think about going right now. But yeah, I mean, just living life. I get up in the morning, I go to work, I come home, I go to the gym. When I get back, it's 8, 9 p.m. You got to get ready for bed and go to work again the next day.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm gonna text my loving wife and see if she can get this dog.
Ladies and
I know
gentlemen,
you
this is
guys.
this is a high-ranking official in our U.S. military
Yeah.
and his unbelievably untrained
Hold
dogs.
on.
Unbelievable. I'll tell you guys, Elon needs to get a hold of this guy.
Hey, look, he's just living his best life out here. All right.
I get it. I get it.
He just ate some dinner and now he's just absolutely demolishing a squeaky unicorn.
What is he, like 14 years old? 7 years old?
No, he's like 5 months.
No, I was talking about in dog years. I was trying to figure out like so he's 4 year old. He's a 4 year old right now.
In theory, what is it? Seven years is 1 year.
Yeah, 7 years is 1 year. That's what they say. So if he's 5 months, then he's about 3.5 years old.
Yeah, that tracks. He did
Yeah.
fucking terrible twos right now. Terrible toddler.
Yeah, yeah.
He's fucking crazy. And I took him to work the past few days because Sam's been out of town. And good God, he's just like he's good. He'll wear him out on the field and he'll come up and sleep. But the second he sees a person, it's just like absolute mayhem has ensued. And he just wants to play. He's like super sweet, but he is wild, man.
Yeah. Are you not? Is there no like possibility of like liability for you bringing the dog? Like, what if he bites somebody? What happens?
Yeah,
You got to
probably,
put him down.
probably. But I'm kind of a big deal around there.
Yeah, which makes you an easy mark, bro.
Probably.
Yeah.
Also, my last day was technically Friday. I just had to
Hey.
run in and do some stuff today. Um, just to like hand over my job that is
Yeah.
ever so important and so strenuous. Um, but yeah, it's weird. It's a weird feeling kind of being done with the job. And then I this coming up week, I'm doing what's called clearing. So basically, I go to all these organizations around post. Like I got to go to the vet, I got to go to like the finance office, the doctor's office, and they have to basically say, "Hey, this dude is good to move. Like he doesn't have any outstanding bills. He doesn't need to schedule an appointment. He doesn't need to do this, this, and this. He's good to go." So I get
Yeah.
those signatures, and then uh, a week from Monday, so when everybody's likely listening to this, I'll be on a plane across the pond.
Across the pond. Where are you going? Afghanistan, Somalia?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to Spain and Portugal.
So you're going to Somalia and Afghanistan.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I
No,
imagine
we
you're going to the big cities.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I sure am. But yeah, it'll be cool. Me and Sam are basically just looking to just explore, kind of get lost around there and walk around, see some cool stuff. Um, but this I know I won't be there for work, but one cool thing I wanted to bring up is my class is going out to what we do land nav. So they're going out to the woods and like walking around, blah, blah, blah. Well, like the SecDef, Secretary of Defense,
Okay. Oh shit,
um,
he's gonna go out there?
he is not going out there, but
Uh
his like DEI inspection posse is coming to our class to make sure that we are doing things properly in terms
yeah,
of new regulations, which is pretty wild to be honest.
yeah.
Um, they wanted to see.
So they're coming out there. I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark from a civilian standpoint. They're gonna go out there and make sure there's no transsexuals or gays.
So that's another topic that is an ongoing thing in the Army right now, but they're coming out to basically make sure that we're treating everybody the same and people aren't getting
Uh,
favored because of discrimination, whatever, equality, all that stuff. Basically we're just make sure we call everybody war fighters and we're good to go.
yeah. Uh,
But it
okay.
is going to be super weird. So hopefully we're, I don't think we have anything to worry about like as an organization. um, Everybody gets treated the same, just because you're this color of your skin or you're a male or a female, whatever it is. I don't think we discriminate in favor of them or not in favor of them either way.
Well, they're all trash, right? And in the military, you're trash,
Yeah.
and you get treated like trash regardless of who you are.
Yes, I think that's a common misconception a little bit, uh, but it's hard to explain otherwise.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sure,
Okay. I got you. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, other than that, I mean, March Madness, big weekend. We had the round
Big
of
weekend.
64, round of 32. Um, Lots of basketball on the phone, on the TV. We just been watching. We'll get into that in a second, but I want to jump into the athlete segment. So, just to refresh, I know you listen a lot, but uh, I have an athlete, and I'm going to
Yep.
give you three hints,
Yep.
and you get a guess. If you guess it right, I got to chug a beer. If you don't guess it right, then you get to ask one question
Hmm.
and then a guess, and you get 5 attempts. Okay.
Yeah. No. I don't know if you recall this, but I was the one that came up with these new rules, so I'm very aware of how it works.
Look, I explain it just as much for you as I do for the other people that are listening, just in
Okay.
case
Just in case.
the
I
long
can
shot
appreciate
that
your
we have,
thoroughness.
the long shot that we have a new listener,
Yeah.
which is indeed a long shot. But
Yeah. Just
getting
real
to it,
quick. I
yeah.
I, I don't want to go off topic very long, but Are you guys trying to gain new listeners, or is this just like a
I don't think so.
no
We don't promote even a little bit.
at all? Okay, all right.
Yeah. Uh, so like, no, if other people like somehow find the podcast and listen, then sure. But like, I don't think we're at a spot where I want to like be posting it on my Instagram and being like, come listen to the podcast. Cause I really don't think it's tailored towards everybody. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
more
yeah,
it's more like a weekly catch up with the friend group, I'd say.
yeah. That's pretty accurate. That's how I would describe it as well.
Yeah, versus like a very informative podcast, which we do report the news.
I mean, we are updating news about the sports world, so this is informative,
It's
but there's a
informative.
lot. There's informative. But athlete. All right, give me the
Athlete.
hint.
Okay. All right. So hints. Florida,
Nice.
back to back.
Joakim Noah.
You're a piece of shit.
Ha! Chug that beer, bitch boy. Yeah, that's right. Guys, not only am I the first person to ever guess an athlete right, I'm now the first two-time.
What kind of horse shit are you spewing?
I was just letting everybody know that not only am I the first person to guess an athlete right the first try, I'm now the first two-time.
You are the
So
first two-time. I will say that was hand fed to you. If you weren't going to get that,
come on now. Don't do that. Don't
I mean,
diminish my
Florida back to
achievements.
back.
Don't diminish my achievements.
I like to encourage guests to come on. I didn't want to stump you too
That
bad.
could have been anybody Florida back to back. That could have been Tim Tebow. That could have been Aaron Hernandez. That could have
That
been
that'd have been
who else?
that'd have
Who else
been
was on
more.
that Florida team? Who else was on that
Aaron
Florida team?
Hernandez would have been more like front to back.
Front to back. What is he? White front to back? What does front to back have anything to do
No, I
with?
was making a homosexual joke.
Oh, was he a homosexual?
I'm pretty sure we didn't. Isn't that what was involved with that? He was like in prison doing some weird shit.
I don't know. I thought he got molested by his uncle. I think that was the homosexual aspect of the.
That could have been it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched that documentary a long time ago and I can't remember exactly. All I know, crazy situation.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, the dude was a real life psychopath.
Yeah, he was nuts.
And whether that be because of the head trauma or because of his uncle diddling him, I don't know. But he was like really crazy.
Yeah, he was. And then played on a team with Tebow, who's,
Hmm.
godly man himself.
Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing about football. It's a melting pot.
It
You know?
sure is. And then what's the documentary? Swamp Kings?
I don't. Maybe it might have been. I don't know.
That's not the Aaron Hernandez one, but that's the one that talks about like the Urban Meyer years. It's on
Oh
Netflix.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
haven't
Where
seen it, you should check it out.
I haven't seen it, but
You should
holy
check
shit,
it out.
Al Horford was on the back-to-back Florida team.
Yeah, and I think Corey Brewer was too.
Corey Brewer was. Joakim Noah. That's pretty much it.
I think those were the big three, but that was back in 06, 07.
That was that. Well, this one is 05-06 because they won it in 05-06, then they won it
yeah.
in 06-07.
Right.
They probably had a lot of the same team in 06-07 because they were like sophomores and juniors.
I think the key base was like Horford, Brewer, and Noah. Which you think about it, Horford and Noah, power forward center. That's a duo right there.
Damn. Then on the 06-07 team, you got Maurice Spates, which I don't know if you remember him, but he was a big one. 6'10", 245 freshman. Came in. I don't know how much playing time he got, but
All I know is he was absolutely devastating in 2K.
in 2K, he was a monster. I remember giving many a whoopings with my old Spates.
Almost face. Yeah, that dude is serious. But my last hint I was going to give you was Ark, like Noah's Ark.
Oh, well, yeah, that would have meant nothing to me. I mean, I guess,
I
but
should have led with that.
yeah,
Maybe it would have confused you.
it would have definitely confused me because when you said arc, I was going to think of like a shot,
Yeah.
like some type of arcing shot or like arcing pass or something. I don't know.
And now I'm just burping significantly.
Yeah. Did you chug that whole thing? Let me see it.
No, I didn't chug the whole thing. I got the tall boy, the 16ers, and I'm not about to chug a Coors Light right after I just ate dinner. This is my podcast, my rules.
I find that frustrating that we establish rules and then you break them at will
Well,
because
let's be
somehow
real. What were you gonna do if you did your five guesses?
we started this under the assumption that I do not drink. All right,
I mean,
that was an unspoken agreement we made. You, however, drink like a sailor.
like a
So
sailor. What's that
you
supposed to
drink
mean?
you drink your fair share of alcoholic beverages, okay?
Says who? You don't know what's in
Yo.
here.
Oh, Randy.
Look, I don't appreciate these assumptions you're making
Yeah,
about me.
yeah.
And I'd prefer if you kept my professional image clean on the internet.
Hypothetically, of course.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly, hypothetically. Yeah. I've never seen you drink, but I hear things, so I can only speak about that.
Okay. Okay. That tells me a lot about the type of person you are. All right, let's talk some March Madness.
Uh,
I feel like this year specifically, there's been less upsets than normal.
I'm looking at the bracket right now. There's been a couple because I know you had like McNeese State won. Who did McNeese State beat?
Oof, they beat somebody I didn't think they were gonna beat because I definitely
Clemson.
didn't have that one. Yeah, they beat
So
Clemson because I
McNeese
Clemson
beat
went damn Final
Clemson.
Four.
Yeah. But then they got mopped up by Purdue, which I picked Purdue to win that bracket. So yeah, McNeese State was an upset. And then you had a couple of like eights beating nines.
Yeah, but
I'm
those are
sorry, not
toss
nines
ups.
beating eights. So
Those
like,
are
like
toss
a
ups.
10 beating a seven. Baylor beat Mississippi State.
Colorado State won. Did you have that one? I think they beat Memphis.
No, I did not. I did not. I picked Memphis. Yeah,
I
Colorado
had
State beat
Colorado
Memphis.
State. That's like
Drake
the
beat Missouri. So it was 11 beating a six. Arkansas beat Kansas, 10 beating a seven. So there's been a couple, but there hasn't been like a Cinderella.
no, not yet. I'm
Not yet.
hoping Colorado State becomes that, but I think who's going to become that right now looks like maybe Arkansas.
Yeah, because they
Arkansas
beat St.
just beat,
John's.
yeah, they beat Kansas in the first round and then just beat St. John's. But I mean, they have Coach Cal, and they were supposed to be good at the beginning of the season. They kind of struggled, and they're not a typical Cinderella because they're a big name team, like a big major D1 school, and
Yeah,
they have like a lot of NIL money. They're SEC team, so there's just not like that Cinderella team that I think we're gonna have. And the reason I think that is because of this whole NIL transfer portal deal.
yeah.
Like for instance, this Clayton Jr. dude on Florida. Did you watch that Florida game today?
I did not. I didn't get the chance to. They
Well,
won. I know that.
they won. Great game. By the way, they played UConn, and that
Yeah.
thing was so back and forth. The last 10 minutes of that game were crazy. But like Clayton Jr., I think it's like Walter or Walker. I can't remember his first name. First team All American, like really good this season. But he transferred from Iona, who traditionally people like him on Iona would be the Cinderella teams in the tournament.
Yeah.
But since all this transfer portal and NIL money, these people that play on these mid majors are now transferring to these big time SEC and whatever schools because they can make millions of dollars.
They're getting paid, bro. I mean, I don't blame them, but
I don't blame them
it
either.
kind of does ruin the sport, but I
Yeah.
don't blame them.
No, I don't blame them at all. I'd do the same thing. But it sucks as a fan
Yeah.
because I like seeing the Ionas. I like seeing the Butlers and those mid major teams like knock off the other schools and stuff. And I think we're just to an era where that's going to happen less and less.
Just another example of the bourgeoisie upper class just keeping us little guys down.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
really what it is,
shame.
bro. Now the little schools don't really have a chance.
They
They
really
just
don't.
they don't have the dowry. They don't have the budget.
They don't. That's true. Um, that's gonna suck. Because the most exciting, the reason people love March Madness so much is because like literally anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean it's win or go home.
And I think the first round, 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, and 4 seed all won. None of them got upset.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at it now. It looks to be that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's never the case. Usually there's a 15 that beats a two. Usually a 3 seed and a 4 seed definitely go down. Um, but it didn't really happen this year. Maybe it's just a fluke.
I don't believe so. I think what you're saying and like the picture you're painting is accurate. These people, what like there's not going to be any studs staying on a Iona or a Alabama State. You know, they're going to fucking leave and go get that bag.
Hmm.
Even at a school where kind of like an Arkansas, you know, where it's not like a top tier basketball school, but they're in the SEC and they can pay.
That's true. And Arkansas has a lot of transfers. They have, I'm gonna mess up the names, but so I'm not even gonna try them. But their center and their point guard are both transfers. One was from Tennessee last year, and then one was I want to say brought to Arkansas from Kentucky because Coach Cal is now at Arkansas. Um,
Yeah.
and they have the money. They're a SEC school, and they have the money to pay these dudes, and they're gonna get them. Now, I will say, I think I am rooting for Arkansas because I do feel like Kentucky did Coach Cal a little dirty. Um, he's like one of those guys, like he was almost kind of in the same category as like a Coach K or Roy Williams, where you think of him and you think of Kentucky basketball.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, yeah, we're going to move on. Like, I feel like you owe so much to that guy, like Kentucky does as a whole, that you have to be like, hey, like we're going to end up struggling because you've given us so much. We're going to give you the opportunity to retire here.
Well, like he won them a chip, right?
I think definitely one.
Yeah. And he was in the dance pretty much every single year. He was a notable team every single year. And then I'm not familiar with exactly what happened. They let him go. They said, "Hey, we're getting rid of you."
I'm not familiar with exactly what happened, but I do know Kentucky struggled in like the last 3 years.
Yes, yes.
And they've been knocked out of the tournament pretty early by some pretty high seeds. And I think the Kentucky athletic director or athletic association was just like, look, we're going to move on. It can be as public or not public as you want it to be. And I don't think he was quite done yet. So I think he made a little bit of a stink about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, high profile coach like that, I'd make a stink too.
Yeah, somebody like that, bro. Somebody who's been there for like a decade plus. They won you a chip. They have some like top tier seasons every year. They got 2 or 3 bad years. You let it ride, man.
Let it ride.
Like
They've proven success.
especially like as from a recruiting standpoint. I don't know if they let him go before or after NIL, but from a recruiting standpoint, like he's a name that people play for.
He knows how to recruit.
He knows how to recruit.
That is one thing for sure. And speaking of Kentucky, Kentucky's playing Illinois right now, and they're
Mm,
they're they're up six. Um, they got a good young team. They always have a good young team. But yeah, I think I'm pulling for Arkansas if Colorado State doesn't win tonight. Colorado State, because they're the 12 seed, they're going to be my Cinderella hope.
you just want an upset.
I just want upsets. I want mayhem. I want absolute mayhem because my bracket already sucks. So
Yeah.
I need some serious shifting to go on.
With a
Um,
whopping 24.7% accuracy,
yeah.
Randy Joe Eller. That's great.
It has not been a good
Uh,
good season for me in any kind of uh fantasy sports world.
yeah. I mean,
Fantasy basketball was bad. My bracket's terrible.
I'm looking at your bracket right now, and you mean at least you stuck to your guns. You picked upsets. You know, you wanted to see upsets. You picked them.
Yeah. I mean,
You
I'm here
know,
for a good time, not a long time.
yeah.
Now I do still have my final four mostly intact. Clemson, I had way too much faith in the ACC. I picked Louisville to win against Creighton, which didn't happen, and then I picked Clemson to go to the Final Four, and that absolutely did not happen because they lost to McNeese. Um, so way too much faith in the ACC, way too little faith in the SEC. But my champion is still alive, and my Final Four is still 3 out of 4.
Who'd you
So
pick? Who'd you pick for champ?
Florida.
Nice. Me too.
Yeah, they played a really good UConn team today, and UConn looked good. It wasn't one of those games where I think Florida looked like they struggled either. It just looked like UConn played good, and that was a freaking dogfight. And kind of reassuring if you're a Florida fan, because I don't think Florida's had tons of close games.
No, it was that's the type of game that motivates your team.
Yeah,
Close win, you come together as a squad, you find a way to pull it out, get you together. I
it
like it.
was.
I like a game like that. That's good.
Yeah,
It was
me
a good.
too. Good win, and it was cool because like after the game, they interviewed like the best player, Clayton Jr., and he like brought the whole team in for the interview. So it seems like
Mm.
they got a good group. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
But
I'm
let's.
excited. As a Florida fan, I'm excited. They haven't been good in basketball since fucking 2005,
Yeah,
2007. So, it's refreshing.
it is for sure. So let's talk about this bracket a little bit. Um, so you're in third. You're
I
making
am
a
in third.
case, and the top
Yep.
two people in front of you, Classic and Tyler, have Duke as their champion,
And I have
um,
Florida.
and you have Florida. So it's going to come down to that. Duke did win today, and they won big. Uh,
Yeah.
so I
Well,
think those two are going to go far.
what I look at is the max for points.
Hmm.
Tyler has a max of 1620. I have a max of 1770, and Kyle has 1800.
Yeah,
So if everything plays out the way that we all have our brackets, I believe it's going to come down to me and Kyle, and I believe it's going to come down to either Florida or Duke winning. If
yes,
if if they both make it, then
correct.
it'll be me and Kyle 1 and 2. The winner of that game will determine who wins the bracket.
Yeah, no, I agree. If it comes down to how we think it's going to play out now, if Duke or Florida lose next round,
Well, then that's I don't know. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know.
yeah.
I do not
So
know.
we'll see. I'm riding in 13th. Oh no, I'm 10th right now, 10th place. Um, so it could have been better, but my max is like 1600. So I'm above my max is a lot higher than a lot of people that are above me right now.
Yeah.
And I think my first round hurt me. But if everything plays out how I have it in the later rounds, then I should move up. I'm likely not going to win, but that's okay.
Well, you're definitely not going to win.
You never know, dude.
No, I mean you won't. I think it's statistically impossible for you to win because you also have Duke as a winner. No, so you have Florida as a winner.
Yeah, if everybody else's just goes to shit and mine stays a little more accurate, then we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Maybe. Look, I hope. I hope the Florida wins.
Yeah, me too. All right, so I got a question about the brackets and your take on how people should make brackets. So basically, how many brackets do you think someone should be able to make? Or how many brackets generally should you make?
If it's pay to play, and if you have to pay, let's say $10 every single time you enter like a group, like the thing we're doing, make as many as you want. I guess I don't know,
Okay.
but if it's just like free brackets I make one bracket. Maybe I'm a purist. Maybe I'm ethical, moral. I don't know what the reason is. I make one bracket. I know other people make like 20 brackets.
I make one bracket as well.
I mean, I make one and then I call it a day, and then
I
I,
make
I
I make one bracket as well, and I think I'm in the same boat as you. I like it's not necessarily from like a moral standpoint or whatever, but I think it's more so like I make one bracket. I know exactly like what teams I'm following and what games I need to win. Because if you make a bunch of brackets, then it's like, okay, which team do I want to win based off which bracket I think is going to be the best, yada yada yada. Um, so I'm with you. I think people should make one bracket. People go
and
in there. Go ahead.
if you make like 20, 30 brackets, really at that point there's no knowledge, there's no skill, there's no like you're just you're throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. There's nothing else going on. If you make one bracket and you get a high percentage of them right, you obviously knew what you were doing. There's something to be said about someone that makes one bracket and does well. You know?
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm glad we agree on this. Um, I was going to ask another question, I think, on that, but I guess I wasn't. Let's talk a little fantasy basketball before we go into a break. All right, so we're in the playoffs, semifinals. We got
Mm-hmm.
goat team.
Goat
Uh,
team.
goat team is up versus team never quit. And then Plank Face is up pretty big against the real GOAT team.
The real goat. He is a ghost. Yeah,
Like literal goats.
the literal goat, not the greatest of all time. That belongs
Correct.
to me, goat team.
Correct. Talking about the
Yeah.
farm
So
animal.
Wes he's gonna beat Tyler because two of Tyler's good players are sitting. The other two have already played, and he only has one person left, and he's down by 120. So he's going to lose. Wes is going to be in the chip. I'm going to win. I'm going to beat Kyle. I'm currently up by 122 points. Granted, now Kyle does have a full roster, and he has some real fuckers playing today, like Shy Gildress, SGA. Zubak's been a real bitch. He's put up some monster games. Sengun, he can throw up 30.
Hmm.
So we'll see. Um,
It's going to be a tight one.
I mean, I like where I'm at, obviously, because I'm up by 122 points.
Yeah,
So I
but
mean, I'm in a good spot.
with that roster, he could put up 120 easy.
Yeah, I mean, but also right now I have Mark Williams playing, Scotty Barnes playing, Andrew Wiggins, Russell Westbrook, Dylan Brooks, and he also has a bunch of like. So I like the spot I'm in, but it is super annoying that he has those people playing late. So I'm going to wake up in the morning and just look and see what happens. I'm not going to stay up and watch it. So yeah, 120 points. I like having a 120 point lead. I'm confident that I'm going to win, but Shy could put up a fucking 60-point game and just fuck me. So we'll see what happens. But I'm confident. I'm
Good.
gonna win. I'm gonna win.
Okay.
It's gonna be GOAT team versus Wes in the playoffs. And I don't know if you're aware, if you've been seeing the snaps, I'm God's chosen warrior. I'm going to win the chip this year.
Are
It's
you?
God's will.
Is it?
It's God's will. And there's nothing that can get in the way of
I have seen the snaps of, so you're saying there's a chance.
that.
And I know that everyone that receives those probably fucking hates it.
Well, I was down 100 points.
Yeah.
And I basically I gave up. I not gave up,
Um,
but I was like in my mind, I was like, oh fuck, that sucks.
yeah,
Being down 100 points, it's tough to come back from that.
it is.
And then what day was it? It was Thursday when I put up 190 points and he put up 38.
Oof.
And then that's when it started to be like, so you're telling me there's a chance.
Oh, how the
Yeah,
turntables.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
Yeah, so we're looking at potentially a Mike and West championship. That's a real battle right there.
yeah, there's a lot of years and decades of competition, testosterone raging, a lot of L's West has taken. He needs this. I'm not going to give it to him. I'm going to beat him again. But he is going to fight, scratch, and claw for this win because I don't think he can take another L. If I beat him again, he might kill himself, and I'm
Hopefully
okay
for
with that.
him, hopefully for him, it doesn't go like those 2K games went today.
He's, bro, on the third game, I was up 20 points. I came down the court with Dame and dunked the ball, like no defense at all. Just literally just took the ball down and dunked it. And I heard him say, I don't know if he wasn't saying it to me. I think he was trying to say it to himself, but he said, I can't take this anymore. And he fucking he sighed and he said, I can't take this anymore. And he fucking and then he quit. And then that was it. That was the third game. So I'm 6-0 against West in the game so far. I'm not gonna lose anytime soon. Uh
Oh, I just know when you heard that come over the microphone, it was just pure joy.
No, it was. I was laughing. I was laughing to myself because again, I don't think he was trying to say it to me. So I was giggling, and then he was like, "What the fuck are you laughing at, man?"
I think Wes probably has the most rage when it comes to 2K.
He just gets real nasty. He just turns into a real fucking prick. He starts just every time you say something to him, he has a real snarky response, and he just turns into a real fuck. Real sweet guy, but Something about when he hops on that game, you know?
A real sweet guy.
Yeah.
I think Tyler has a lot of rage too when it comes to
Yeah.
2K. Tyler and Wes, maybe we'll put a poll at the bottom of this episode as who has the most rage when it comes to 2K, Tyler or Wes.
But I think they're both equally as rageful, but it's two different types of rage. Wes is more outward towards other people, and Tyler's is inward towards himself. He just starts like really degrading himself personally.
Well, at least he knows it's his fault that he's losing. He doesn't blame it on others.
Yes. Well, Wes doesn't blame anybody. He just turns into a real fucking asshole. It's like Tyler, but Tyler starts talking, "Oh, you fat fuck, make the shot." Like, "Oh, you stupid bitch," like talking about himself. He does the same thing in real basketball.
He does. He does. And it's funny when people think that he's talking to them.
Yeah.
You fat
Yeah.
piece of shit.
No, I don't want any of the listeners that aren't familiar with it to think that either one of them are good at the game. They're both very bad at 2K. They're just bad in their own ways.
Oh yeah. Man, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. We used to have
No,
some 2K battles, not me and you specifically, because I'm equally as bad. Um, but just the group.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
2K was life and it was law.
I mean, we've logged thousands of hours,
Thousands.
and like every weekend there was at least a couple games played, and
Oh
obviously
yeah.
throughout the week, like the
Oh yeah.
clear run days where everyone was in the apartment 24/7, and then you had your house, Wes's house, Josh's house, like our entire time together. It's just been 2K.
Yeah.
So
It
yeah,
really
yeah.
has. It really has been.
If you had to give yourself a record all time, what do you think your 2K record is against the group all time?
Um, I don't know. I'd say it's probably about 500.
Okay.
I don't know if uh I don't know if I would be in the positive wins because there was a while there that I was just getting annihilated, especially at the beginning of 2K, like when we'd all go to Wes's house and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I would get annihilated every time I would play. But then at Clear Run, I feel like I got better because we played it so much. And I was competitive there. Um, but let's jump into a commercial break. We'll get into your record all time when we get back.
All right.
Hey folks, the fat sumbitch is here. It's been a while, and no, I didn't die of a heart attack. In honor of me not eating something bad for the last 12 hours, I've decided to head over to KFC to check out their mashed potato poppers. It's going to be a live review right now. Yeah, that's right, fried mashed potato balls. I've reached a new low. The full order: chicken sandwich, nuggets, fries, mashed potato balls, and a Mountain Dew. This possibly my last message ever, as I'm sure I will venture into cardiac arrest shortly. But the mashed potato balls are a hit. If only I had gravy.
All right, and we're back. Thanks to that sponsored ad by that fat son bitch. So back where we left off, we'll talk, all-time records. I self-proclaimed about 500 for myself. I'm sure there will be some people that have some gripes about that, but we'll let them gripe. Yours, I'd say, is a pretty good record. I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm a little biased because I think I'm the best in the group. Maybe not in the world because I've gotten demolished by some online people that just fucking 24/7 play professionally and as a career. But in the group, I would go so far as to say I got like an 85 to 90% win rate. I do not lose often.
I would agree with that. I think there for a while, you probably went almost year stretches without losing.
Yeah. I mean, it got to a certain point where I was winning so often and so much that I started playing little games within the game, like scoring 60 with Kyle Singler, and just taking like a shitty 70 overall player on a team and just over and over again spamming one move and scoring 50 to 60 points a game.
I do think that's where the rage developed. That's where it
That's
started.
it. That was it.
That's
There's
where
uh,
that's where it started. Wes can blame his anger issues on 2K specifically. Probably to a point of time, actually. I think I can specifically target a point of time in his bedroom, probably playing like 2K11. And James Harden just hitting elbow jumper after elbow jumper.
oh, there was a lot of crash outs happening in that room
Yeah.
from fucking Wes, man.
Oh man. Yeah, I'd say.
Oh,
I will say this, that last time I played you in 2K, I beat you.
you did win. You did beat me.
And I will never play you again.
Spoken like a true coward.
Look, I'm just being real. I'm going out with my
Yeah,
bootstraps.
I got you, bro. I got you. That's a good strat.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I'm a winner right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, overall, maybe that's a different story. But the last game, I mean, you're as good as your last game, and
I
your
agree.
last game was a win.
We've played a lot of 2K, and I think I may have won 3 times. And most of the time, it was because you're trying to score, 50 with Bismack Biombo. and I end up pulling it out. But,
No, it's fun. And I just want to throw this in there also. Wes brought up a good point, and he was right when he said it. I wasn't going to buy the game. He
yeah.
asked me before, and I said, no, I'm not really going to play it that often. I don't like, and he kind of pressured me to buy it. And now he said to me, I was like, I wish I never told you to buy this game because he woke the beast, and
Yeah.
now it's back on.
Was this the first couple games of the new one?
This was the last one, the sixth game. He hasn't beaten me yet, and he's like, man, I really wish I would not have told you to buy this game.
I'm sure that made you feel pretty good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just brought me back to 2013. Made me feel like a kid again. Brought back those nostalgic feelings.
Oh, I love that. All right, let's transition away from the fake basketball and talk about real basketball. So, NBA MVP race. What are your thoughts?
It's not a race. There's no debate between who it should be. Now, if you're asking me who I think they'll vote for, it is kind of a toss-up. But I wrote down the stats that I thought were of importance. And if you scratched out the names and just looked at the stats, there's no way that Joker doesn't win MVP. He 62 games played, his team's 44-27, which granted, that's the only thing that SGA has a leg up on. His record is obviously 58-12. His team's won more games. But they both have 11 field goals made per game. Shy takes 5 more shots a game, but only averages 3 more points a game. Joker shoots better field goal percentage from the field and from 3-point, and he averages a triple double. Like that's an MVP season.
Yeah, I feel like we're on the same stance there. I think it's pretty consensus gonna be Shy, however you say his name.
Yeah.
But Jokic is right there behind him in the race, I think. Now, when you talk about who deserves it, we're flirting with some weird unwritten rules, I feel like. Because Shea averages 33 points, 5 rebounds, 6.2 assists. OKC's 12 and a half games in first place in the West, and he's likely going to finish as the scoring champion. I think it's a pretty good resume. But then you look at Joker, who's averaging a triple-double as a center, which is nuts. 29 points, 12.8 rebounds, 10.3 assists. He's probably going to finish the season top 3 in scoring, rebounds, and assists, which is absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah. Now, is it just points? Like, is it a scoring champion is your MVP?
Shouldn't be.
Because if Jokic, if he just, instead of passing the ball 10 times and getting 10 assists a game, if he passed the ball 5 times and he averages 35, 12, and 5, would that be an MVP season? Like,
I don't think scoring should influence the MVP solely. I think it has a lot to do. But I mean, if that was the case, then Kobe would have significantly more MVPs. Tracy McGrady would probably have an MVP, etc. I think the record has a lot to do with it. OKC being so good, but OKC has an all-star. They have someone that's likely going to finish on a all-defensive team. The Nuggets don't have that at all. So Jokic is doing it by himself. If we're talking about most valuable player, I mean, it sounds like the guy that doesn't have another MVP and nobody else on the all-defensive team should win it.
yeah, I mean, it's obviously they have really good role players. The Denver Nuggets have people that play their role very, very well. But Oklahoma City, SGA, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, who else?
The Durant, right?
Duran. I know they got Hartenstein, which he's a solid center. I mean, he's not a fucking superstar, but he's a solid player. You know, that's another. We're missing one person.
I can't think of that. It's like the other Williams.
Thunder roster. I'm gonna look it up right now because it's gonna bug me. Jalen. So they have 2 Jalen Williams.
Yeah, they have 2 Jalen Williamses. Lou Dortz. Lou Dortz is the other one that's gonna be.
Yeah, he's the defensive team. Yeah. That I think that was who it was.
And then
against Dortz.
Yeah, Jalen Williams was the other all-star with Shea.
Yep.
And Jokic just doesn't have that.
No, I mean he has Jamal Murray,
right? Who's good player, not an all-star, not an all-defensive team caliber.
Was he not an all-star?
He wasn't an all-star. I don't think he's ever been an all-star.
That's crazy because he's pretty good. He's good at basketball.
He's good at basketball, yes, but you think about all those players in the West that he would have to beat.
Yeah, I mean it's Joker at the helm. Then he's got Russell Westbrook, which is a declining superstar. He's still good, but he's
I think he's found a
shell
home
of what
there.
he once was.
I think he's found a home there in Denver. I think he's playing the role well.
He is.
I like him there.
Backup point guard. He comes in and runs the show when Jamal Murray and Joker sit.
Yeah.
And then after that, they got Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and then just a bunch of. It looks like a bunch of fucking Serbians. I'm looking at the roster. Dario Saric, Vlatko Kansar.
He's recruiting over there.
He is. He's bringing his fucking buddies over to play on the team. That's crazy.
I do think there's a little bit of gatekeeping involved in the voters, and they don't want so many people to have the amount of MVPs because certain legends don't have but so many.
But I mean, I guess I can see that, but that's stupid.
I think it's stupid as well. I mean, in reality, if we're talking about best player in the league, I mean, LeBron should have, well, yeah, I would agree, but LeBron should have probably at least 10 MVPs.
Okay, yeah, well, Wes said the same thing when I was playing. We kind of had a brief MVP talk, and he said the same thing. If it was strictly based on best player and everyone voted accurately, then LeBron would have like fucking 15 because he was at one point, but also because Steph was in the league at that time.
Steph, you can start making arguments around like 2016.
Yeah, Kobe, what him and Kobe played during the same time. So like,
yeah, I think LeBron took over best player in the league around like 06
to win 06 to
probably 2016. I'd say is a lock.
Oh man,
is a lock.
I'd have to go back and see. I don't know. I mean, obviously he was great, but you're a Glazer. You're a Braun Glazer, so I can't take your word for it. I have to do some research.
Look, I just report the news.
Because during that time, you had Derrick Rose for his MVP season.
Average what, 24 points or something like that. LeBron almost had a triple double, averaging probably the same.
I don't know what he did. He was the most valuable person on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know you had a couple of like meteoric seasons from certain players during that time, which they deserve the MVP.
Steve Nash won back-to-back MVPs.
For running the show. I mean, what do you average? Like fucking
Like
15 assists a game, something like that?
No, not even close to that. He
Oh
probably
my
averaged
goodness.
11.
11. That's slanderous. 11
Honestly,
assists.
11 is on the high side.
That's crazy.
He definitely averaged probably 15 points
Yeah.
in both of those seasons.
Now you got me looking it up. See, now, when did he win MVP?
Probably
Back-to-back MVP stats right here.
probably 08, 9
Yeah,
maybe.
15, 3 and 11, 19, 4 and 10.
Yeah, not even that good of numbers.
Yeah,
I mean,
43%. 43% from the three-point line, which is pretty fucking good.
Which is great.
Which is really good, yeah. He was efficient. He was a super efficient, and he ran the Suns. He ran the show.
Yeah, he did, but is he the best player in the league? Absolutely not.
He was the most valuable player on a team.
On a team, he was the most valuable player on the one of the best teams.
Yeah, yeah, and that is what the award is.
Yeah, best player
Most
on the best team.
valuable player. It's not
Yeah.
on the best team. I think it should be in the fucking league. If my team is 0 and 63, but I'm the best player, most valuable player of my team, and I'm like leading my team in like 30 points a game, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, like you are the most valuable player.
Yeah, then Lucas should have won it like the last 3 years.
I agree. I think he had a good case for it.
He definitely had a case for it. So I don't know, man. I think they need to figure out what they do, because right now it's just a bunch of people that are voting that are kind of gatekeeping, like, oh, we can't give this dude too many.
Yeah.
But he really is the best player in the league. He's really the most valuable. But what are we going to do? So I don't know. I wouldn't be upset if either of them won it, because they're both having remarkable seasons. But I do think that it's going to be consensus Shea.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I hope not. But I think he's going to win it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk random questions. My first random question to you is, what is the best championship series in sports?
When you say series, you mean like run?
I mean, like, no, not like run. I mean, like tournament, or so for instance, the Super Bowl or the World Series or the NBA Finals, etc.
So would you consider the World Cup a championship series?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think soccer is the most boring, pointless, stupid fucking sport I've ever watched in my life. But when the World Cup comes on, I'm the biggest soccer fan you've ever met in your life.
I will agree. The World Cup is fun.
I think it's because of the whole, like, the country aspect of it. And it's not a team. It's like America is in the World Cup and we're trying to win, like, the world. We're trying to beat the world. So that gets me amped up and invested.
I like that. The World Cup is one of those things that doesn't happen every year, right?
No, it's like every 4 years.
Is it 4? For some reason, I was thinking it was
maybe
2.
2?
I'm pretty sure it doesn't happen every year, which I think makes the anticipation grow for it even more. So the World Cup is definitely something I wasn't thinking about that I would say is got to be up there, because the World Cup is always
4
awesome.
years. It's 4 years.
Is it every 4?
Yeah, held every 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, even the Women's World Cup, I'm tuned in.
Yeah. And why do you say that? Why do you say even the Women's World Cup?
Well, because other women's sports I just don't watch. They're not exciting.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I watch it too. I watch it all.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's definitely up there. March Madness, I think, is up there. I think it's a great championship series. The Masters is
great.
I don't watch golf. I couldn't turn golf on a Sunday morning and just watch it. But the Masters, I'm tuned in.
I mean, there's a lot. There's a couple, but for me, it would be the World Cup. What would it be for you?
It's probably March Madness. It's probably March Madness. I think it's the most exciting for me in terms of just
Yeah.
like so many games, so many wild things that happen other than this year. And it's 3 weeks long,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is nice. But World Series has an honorable mention. I think the World Series is great. Don't like watching baseball on TV, but when the World Series comes on, it's exciting. But yeah, okay.
I
I
mean, there's
like
not many
World
to
Cup.
pick from. There's not many to pick from, but
No, I mean the Super Bowl is great, but it's just one game,
yeah.
and it's every year.
Yeah.
And sometimes the games suck.
All right, go again. Hit me with the next one.
Okay. What sport would be the easiest to get a college scholarship in? Like if you were to start over and you think your only goal is just getting a college scholarship, not in terms of what you like to do, but what if you had to start from a young child and just play one sport, what would be the easiest to be like, okay, I'm going to get a college scholarship in this. I'm going to put my sole focus in this.
Now, I have two answers to the question. One, because I don't know if this first one, I don't consider it a sport, but I don't know if it would be an answer to your question. Cheerleading,
Okay. I mean,
male cheerleader as a base,
I
like
don't like it as a sport.
yeah,
But I do think it would be easy to get a college scholarship. And I think
yeah,
we could probably have said, hey, senior year, we want to go be male cheerleading bases and probably got a scholarship just based off that.
yeah, like last day of senior year, just declare as a as a male cheerleader, apply to a college for a scholarship, get it, obviously, be a base, just fucking lift people up. They're like 80 pounds, so just lift up 80 pounds.
Right. I think you're
Yeah.
definitely, I think that would be the easiest, but I don't know if I consider that a sport.
Okay. Well, see, that's so that one. If we consider a sport, male cheerleader, easiest thing. Uh, Second one, I'm thinking some like something to me wants to say tennis. Something to me wants to say golf. Now, obviously, golf is an extremely difficult sport. I play it from time to time. I suck at it, so I would lean towards tennis.
Tennis is definitely one of my answers as well. Golf, I think would I think you're onto something with golf. However, uh, you have to have a lot of money to play golf as a young kid, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
And you don't just get to go out on the court like you would in basketball or tennis or anything and just practice all the time. You'd have to, pay every time you wanted to go play. So I don't think everybody gets the opportunity to play golf as a kid.
Yeah.
But if you did and you were in that situation and you just played golf nonstop, I do think it would be fairly easy to get a college scholarship. Golf is extremely hard. I am in the same boat as you, terrible at golf, but I never practice. It
Me either.
literally,
I literally never practice.
every time I go play golf, it's literally just I show up and am just as dog shit, if not more dog shit than the time before.
It's fun though.
It is fun. It is a good time. One thing I was thinking is swimming,
Yeah. Diving, swimming. Yeah.
diving, swimming. I think, the amount of practice that you would be able to have if you just said like, I'm gonna be a swimmer.
Yeah,
And
but
you just
also you're going against people like fucking Michael Phelps.
correct, no doubt. But in order to get a college scholarship, you don't have to
You don't have
be
to.
Michael
Yeah. I mean,
Phelps.
you're right. And when you say college, you mean D1, or you're just talking about college in general?
I was generally talking D1,
Okay. All right. Yeah.
but like McNeese State is D1. You telling
That's
me you telling me I can't get a scholarship to McNeese State swimming?
You're damn right
Um,
you can.
uh, so that I think a lot of genetics plays in swimming as well. If you're like a shorter guy, it's going to be harder
Yeah.
because I think generally most swimmers are tall just because the leverage. Tennis was definitely on my list. I think, we're above average tennis players. Everybody in the group, I'd say, is generally above average, and we have never practiced playing tennis. So, so if we went out and, actually trained and had tennis coaches and things like that when we were young, I think we all could have probably gotten a college tennis scholarship.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Now, ping pong is not a college sport, is it?
I don't
There's
know.
there's not many D1 ping pong teams because if that is the case, I'm like the Michael Jordan of ping pong in college. I'd go there and I'd fucking dominate.
I think some schools probably do have ping pong
Yeah.
teams. I would imagine most of them are like clubs,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can't like necessarily get a scholarship to play, but I bet some schools have a ping pong program.
That'd be hot.
That'd
I
be
would
sick.
like I would enjoy that a lot.
Could you imagine just walking around campus with your fancy backpack with your paddle just in your cup holders? Be fucking sick.
Everybody knows, like, oh shit, that's the ping pong guy. Just fucking walking
Yeah.
around there like the big swinging dick.
Yeah, you just got like
Yeah.
a dozen ping pong balls just shoved in the side pocket, just everywhere you go.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, getting a college scholarship. Looking back on it, I kind of fucking kick myself. I mean, one, college is a sham. It's a waste of time. It's a fucking scam. But getting a free education wouldn't be that bad.
No, it wouldn't be that bad. Um, I do think college opens doors for you that you don't necessarily have if you don't go. Now, whether you deserve those doors being open just because you went to 4 years of school, that's another story for a different day. But I do think that having that little piece of paper does help in certain situations.
It does. It does. But it fucking scam. Colleges. I mean, obviously, I'm biased because I dropped out. But big fucking waste of time.
A lot of time it just distinguishes you on paper when you don't necessarily get a chance to interview. So like if you're putting in for this job and the other person has just the same of the experience, but would do absolutely horrible in an interview, but like they're just looking at you on paper first. So they're deciding who they're going to give the interview to. Sure, you might like absolutely crush the interview and get the job if you got that opportunity. But if you don't have a college degree, sometimes they're just going to put your little piece of paper at the bottom of the pile. That's my stance on it.
I mean, you're right. That's what happens. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think that it is that mindset is changing.
I
I think
agree.
for a while, for like a 40 to 50-year period, college degree was an absolute must. If you didn't have a
Mhm.
college degree, you weren't getting a good job, you weren't like advancing. It's very difficult. Now I think that mindset is changing, and I think it's kind of shifting more towards like the quality of candidate instead of the quote unquote resume of what degree you have or what have you.
I
Which
agree.
is yeah.
I think it's because people have made careers for themselves without going to college. And those people are now in those hiring positions. And they're being like, well, I didn't need the college degree. Why should I make this job solely based on someone that has a degree?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to harp on this for long, but just because you have a college degree doesn't mean you're smart. I know a lot of people with college degrees that are fucking stupid.
100%. All of my students that have to come through USCS have to have a college degree. It is a requirement.
Yeah.
And most of them are idiots. But that's another story for a different day. All right. So would your answer be the same for if you were a girl, or girl sports different?
Yeah, I think my answers honestly would be the exact same.
Tennis,
Tennis,
ping pong.
ping pong, or cheerleader.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think for women also, like, obviously there's less like there's a smaller pool
Mm-hmm.
of people like going for these sports and also scholarships. But I think that like maybe women's track and field, I don't got to be the best person on the team, but you bet your fucking ass I'm getting a scholarship.
Yeah, I mean, track and field has a lot of genetics involved, but like say you're not some like wiry sprinter, there's a lot of events in track and field. And
Yeah.
like if you're like a short, stocky girl and you just train in the shot put or the discus or something like that,
100%.
like nobody else is doing that.
Yeah. And you've made this comment a couple of times now about genetics. Are you a eugenicist? Are you a eugenics guy?
I wouldn't say that, no. But I
No.
think genetics plays a large role in a lot of things.
Oh, okay.
Like for instance, swimming, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're a short person,
Yeah.
you're gonna traditionally be worse at swimming than someone that's tall.
I agree with you. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. And I think it's based in facts. But it's just interesting to hear it said by someone, because at what point do you draw that line of where you apply it to?
That's
Right?
fair.
You can obviously you can say it about swimming and nobody bats an eye. But then if you maybe transition that to a different area, then you become it's just interesting.
Listen, there's no DEI in this world anymore.
There, you're right. You're right.
I think certain people are better at certain things, and it's just fact.
I agree with you. I mean, that's a fact. Certain genetics make you predisposed to being better at certain things, and that's okay. It's not a
It's
bad
okay.
thing. It's
Right.
not a bad thing. It's like a perfect example. Ethiopians can run for fucking days.
Yeah.
Genetically, they had to hunt for their food and they had to sprint with fucking lions and gazelles. Like, so they developed really good cardiovascular systems and they can run.
In theory, I mean, I'm not as sped up on that, but I think there's something there. And I
Yeah.
mean, I do think there's something there. Um, but yeah, that's a little, yeah. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it's
not
an
wrong.
interesting topic. I find the topic extremely interesting. That's why you said it a couple of times, and that's why I just wanted to pick your brain and see, like,
Yeah, I
you know,
think I think there's certain people that are predisposed to be better at certain things just on genetics and the way that we've evolved and all kinds of stuff.
so I got two questions.
All
The
right.
first one now, I've replaced my first question.
Okay.
What do you think your genetic makeup has predisposed you to be better at?
Okay. Um, I think generally athleticism, I'd say. I think, just my build in a sense.
Okay.
I'm kind of long, lanky, right? Relatively tall.
Yeah.
I think that has made me be good at sports involving things with length. Like I'm not the best baseball player in the world. I'm decent. I
Yeah.
probably could have been a lot better if I'd have focused on that. Um, but it's just a proven statement that longer the lever, greater the force. Um, so things like that. If I wanted to be a swimmer as a young kid, I probably could have been good at swimming. An average
Yeah.
swimmer, I'd say I'm above average swimmer. Um, I don't know necessarily. I think basketball it definitely helps. Just being tall and long.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. What do you think your genetic makeup makes you good at?
So I think mine is not more so on the physical side. I've always been a thicker guy. I've always been like relatively stronger than the normal person.
Mhm.
So I think that somewhere in my genetic history, it's not my father, it's not my uncle. I think it's my grandpa. I inherited some type of thick strength gene. I don't know. I'm not the strongest dude in the world, but my bar is higher than the normal person. Like my average bar, higher than the normal person. I think where my genetic makeup, somewhere in my like ancestral DNA, it's more mental. Like my ability to focus on a task until it's complete, my like ability to repeat repetitious behavior over and over again to accomplish a task, um, my ability to be confident in uncertain situations. That's not everybody has that. So I think that's where my genetic makeup kind of gives me an advantage.
See, I would disagree. I think that genetics is all physical.
You think it's so you think the mind has nothing to do with genetics?
I don't think, I mean, maybe a little bit, but I think a lot of that stuff is all learned. Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's staying calm in uh, adverse situations is a learned behavior. I think it's probably because you've seen others handle adverse situations in a good or a bad way, and be like, okay, that's not how I want to do things. Let me train myself to remain calm in the situation. Or you've seen good examples of people remaining calm in stressful situations, and you're like, okay, I saw how this person handled it. I'm going to try and kind of focus on that, etc. I think mental things are mostly learned. Sure, there might be some genetics involved, but
yeah, I disagree. I
okay.
think that I mean everything about you, your genetics plays a part in.
I would
You know,
agree
like
it plays a part in, yes.
and also I think that nature versus nurture, like you have full ability to take control of your life and put yourself in any direction you want to go. It doesn't matter if you were born 4 feet tall, half retarded, and blind in one eye. If you really work hard enough, you can become successful in something.
See, I
So
agree with that.
yeah. So what I said was it gives me a genetic advantage. I'm not saying that I like I can't nobody can develop that. I'm just saying my standard level to accomplish and do those tasks is higher than the normal person is at, like just on average.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like it maybe sets you, it gives you a step up,
Yeah,
but
like
most of the stuff is
if I'm a genius, let's say I'm Albert Einstein, and every one of my kids has an IQ of 130. Like, yeah, they can get smarter, but their bar, like average bar, is higher than the normal person genetically because whatever is in his brain, whatever's in his genetics, makes him just a smarter person. Obviously, he was like a weak little feeble man, so it's not like he was gifted physically. He was just a fucking genius.
yeah. I mean, and technically your brain is a physical attribute though.
It is a physical thing, sure. Yes, it's you can physically hold it. Yes.
We could go on like
Yeah.
all day, probably spinning in circles.
Yeah.
I think most of the way people are in terms of like the way they think and how they act is generally a learned behavior.
I that's where I disagree. I think you can learn to change the way that you think and act, but like certain people are prone to do certain things. Like me, genetically, I'm an addict, right? I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict, I'm a gambler. Genetically, I have strong urges to partake in those activities, but I learned to not do them. Now, I still gamble. You know, I'm not a fucking idiot. I don't drink or do drugs, but throughout life, I had like it was almost like I was being called to the sea by mermaids. You know, like you hear that sweet sound and you get that itch and you want to do it, but you learn to not do it. I think you can learn to fight your genetics and your urges, but you're born with those urges.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree.
Like you were born to be a prick.
Apparently,
You were born to be a fucking asshole. I love your dad. He's
was
a
I
prick.
born or was it a learned?
No, because I don't know your grandpa. I don't know how he behaved and how he acted. I don't know if he was a nice guy. Your dad's a nice guy. I love your dad. He's honestly a super sweet fucking person. But from the outside looking in, he has prickish tendencies.
For sure. I mean,
And
I'm not
so do
disagreeing
you.
with you.
And so do you. But you're a
Yeah.
sweet person. You're a really good dude.
Yeah. But see, I just think it's all learned.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, we're on the same page as
We're
far
there.
as
We're almost there.
I think where we differ is I think that you're born with who you are and you can change and become something you want to be. And you think you're born with a clean slate and you learn over time and you make decisions. So
Yes.
it's kind of two sides of the same coin, but it's different. We're right there. We're together. We agree, but just not entirely.
We agree, but not entirely. Yes. Okay. Let's take another commercial break and then hop in this last one and finish it up.
All right. Have you been down on your luck lately? Have you been knocked out of your fantasy basketball playoffs 3 years in a row by the same person? Have you recently taken many L's from the same person on 2K? Do you have suicidal thoughts? If so, please call your local suicide hotline. Your life is valuable, and I love you.
All right, and we're back. Thanks for that sponsored ad by Goat Team GM. You know, make sure you keep those pills rattling in your pocket.
Was that aimed at Tyler and his pills?
It could have been. It could have been. All right. So do you have another question for me?
Yeah, I heard this one on the JRE today, and I thought it was a really solid fucking question, and it makes you think.
Oof.
If you were locked away in a third world prison and you had one phone call to make to call someone to help get you out, and it's somebody that you know, it can't be like a fucking person in the world, but it has to be somebody you know, who would you call?
I'd probably call my dad.
You'd call your pop?
Yeah, I'd call Pops.
Yeah.
Because he may not get me out. However, someone would die, whether it be him or someone else getting me out of the prison. But at least I know there would be action taken.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thought exercise behind it. Like who in your life has the most like autonomy, the ability to get things done, like the ability to act without guidance, things like that. Like, you know.
Yeah. No,
So it would be your pop.
I think so. I mean, if there's one thing about my dad is shit will go into motion.
Yeah.
Whether that would be for the good or the bad, I don't know, but at least something would happen.
Yeah. It's always for the good. When shit's in motion, something's gonna happen.
I agree.
Right? Yeah.
I agree. Who do you think you'd call?
Fuck, I don't know. I truly do not know. I've been ever since I heard it, I've been thinking about it, and I really
That's tough.
it would it wouldn't be somebody that like
because you try and think of who has any, you know, actual leverage to get you out of the situation, and really no one does because you're in a third world country. But yeah, that's tough. That's tough because you know you can't call Wes because he'd just rage. Tyler would just talk shit to himself. But yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to think about it and get back to you because I don't like I wouldn't call my mom. I probably wouldn't call my dad just because he can't operate a fucking phone. So like,
That's true.
like what is he gonna do? Mail a letter to Ecuador or some shit like that? Like I don't know. So I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna get back, but I don't know who it would be.
All right. Well,
you know what? For right now, I'd call your dad. I would also call your dad.
All right. All right. Well, if you find yourself in a third world prison, you can give me a call and I will at least do my best.
Yeah. And look, you're a high ranking military official. Maybe I should call you.
Maybe you should. I would try to do something about it. Would it work? I don't know.
But see, the reason I didn't pick you is because I don't think you would care.
That's crazy.
I think that you'd think about doing something for a second and you'd say, you know what? I kind of want to watch this basketball game. I don't know if I'm going to do anything about it.
That's craziness. I think everybody in our friend group would be able to be counted on in pretty much any situation if we needed them.
Yeah, I think so. When push comes to shove, I agree.
Yeah, I truly do. I think we got a solid group of friends, minus that Tyler guy. But Everybody else, super top notch.
Yeah. Well, God help you if you need to sell or buy a house.
Well, no, he'll do something about it. He'll just get you a realtor that sells you the wrong house.
That's what I'm saying. Like, God help you if you need his help buying an out of state or selling an out of state house. His judge of character in the real estate area of life is not good.
And we both have relevant experience and can attest to
Yeah,
that.
this is firsthand experience. This is not word of mouth.
No, firsthand. I'm potentially going to another duty station and going to be probably looking to buy another house. And can I trust my old pal?
I don't know. He's batting 1,000 right now for shitty picks. Like, can a zebra change its stripes? I don't know. Maybe he was born being a shitty realtor.
I think he was. Now that's where I agree with you. I think genetically he was just born.
Whatever's in your mind that makes you a good realtor, he just don't got it.
He don't got it.
You know?
He don't got it. I think what we do need to do is manage his social media portfolio because he needs some help in that department.
Is he not? Because I don't see him posting anything like as
Exactly.
far as social media,
Exactly.
But also is he still working? Like, I know he's still a realtor, but like he's at the fish house now.
He's
full
working
time.
there. I think if he had it his way, he would be doing real estate full time. I mean,
yeah,
because that would mean you're making good money.
Yeah. It's a shitty time to be a real estate agent. I don't think it's his fault.
No,
it's just a
not his
shitty
fault.
fucking time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a shitty time. All right, but let's jump into some Pat's peeves.
Okay.
I got myself a few Pat's peeves.
Oh, I got 3 or 4. I got a couple.
I got more than 2, less than 4.
Okay.
But last week of work, so I'm like trying not to be a shitbag, trying to get out there and help. We did an obstacle course, and it's usually one of those events that a lot of people struggle with, and we usually recycle, which means move people out of our class that can't meet the standard for the obstacle course into the next class so they get another attempt at it. There's a few obstacles that everybody struggles on, and they have to complete 70% of the obstacles. So there's 15 out there, and they had to fail 4 or less. The way we do it is everybody gets 1 attempt, and then the people that fail an obstacle get to go back through and try the obstacle again, and they get another attempt. If they fail both attempts, then they get recycled. Well, there's one obstacle in particular called the balancing logs, and it's pretty self-explanatory. There's these, basically they look like light poles, and they're on these platforms, and they move as you walk across them. It's tough, but if you have decent balance, then you do it. When we do the obstacle course, the cadre have to demonstrate the obstacle first. So I did a lot of the obstacles, but I did the balancing logs, and I walk over the balancing logs, no issue. Everything was good. First attempt, go through, everything's G to G. So then we do the whole obstacle course, and there was probably 10 people that needed to retest the balancing logs. And a higher ranking person told me to go make the obstacle easier, aka kind of lock the logs in place, which I thought was pretty much BS. That's
bullshit.
Yeah, if I demonstrated the obstacle the first time, why should I make it easier? It's not like I failed it.
Now, I obviously I can't get into specifics, but just out of curiosity, were the people that failed it different? Like, no,
it had nothing to do with they were just names on a piece of paper. Numbers on a piece of paper, really.
Yeah, that's super fucking stupid. Lowering the standard so people will pass. Like, I agree. That's bullshit.
It's bullshit, 100%. And I was pretty mad as I'm moving these logs to lock them in place so that they could pass.
Yeah, because I mean, God forbid, what happens if they come across out in nature some rotating logs? What are they going to do?
Yeah, it's just general test of your balance. It's not like they rotate that much.
Yeah,
it's very doable.
I mean, you did it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I am, an elite human being. Genetically, my balance is on point.
There you go. Yeah. No, but yeah, that's bullshit. That's a pet peeve. Yeah,
That
that's
was a big
bullshit.
pet peeve. Big
Yeah.
pet peeve. All right, you got one?
Yeah. When you're out with somebody and you're out at a restaurant or dining establishment, you both order something that you want to eat. So I order the hamburger, you order the, let's say, crab and mushroom pasta. I'm eating my meal, you're eating your meal. You offer me a bite of yours. I say, no, I'm good. And then you continue to pressure me to have a bite of your food. And I continually say no. And eventually you make me be an asshole. And now the mood's ruined. Now nobody's having a good time because you just wouldn't take fucking no for an answer.
Oh, man,
That's a pet peeve of mine.
that sounds like it could be frustrating. Now were they offering you food so that they could get a bite of yours?
I don't know. That was never brought up. I mean, this isn't one particular experience.
Right.
This is over a lifetime. This has happened many times to
Right.
where somebody's offering you to try their food, you decline, and then they almost get upset that you didn't try their food. Like, why do you give a fuck if I try your food? Why does it matter?
Right. Also, if I wanted that, I would have ordered it.
I would have ordered it.
And or I would have asked you for a bite.
Exactly.
Man,
Or maybe I just don't like what you ordered.
yeah.
And I don't want to say, like, no, I think that would taste awful. I don't want to be rude. No, that's bad peeve of mine.
And then they push you to be rude. Yeah.
And then they push me to be that guy, and I got to be the asshole. I will be the asshole. I don't want to be the asshole.
Yeah. Okay, that would be pet peeve for mine too. Okay, next pet peeve for me. My movers came. I had a pickup date and a drop off date. Pretty clear, right?
Yeah.
I requested my movers to come on this day. I requested my household goods to be dropped off on this day. And I get an email today on a Sunday saying that my household goods are set to be delivered tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, that's not the date that I requested. And my request was never flagged or anything like that. And I'm like, I don't have a home in Missouri yet. So there's nowhere to drop these goods off to. So like, no, that cannot happen. And of course, I get an automated email today. Can't get in touch with the company because nobody's working. So I'm gonna have to call them tomorrow morning and just hope they're not showing up at the doorstep of the apartment that my lease starts on April 12th.
So, like, you have an apartment.
Yes.
You haven't signed the lease yet?
I have signed the lease, but it doesn't start until the 12th of April.
And when are they saying they're going to deliver your goods?
Tomorrow.
Do they have the address of the new apartment?
Yes.
Imagine everything you own in this world being dropped off at the front door of a random apartment complex a month before you move there.
I will be upset. And they told me like, you never scheduled storage. And I was like, okay, I told you when I needed it picked up and when I needed it dropped off. If there was an issue, you would have said, hey, we can't keep it for this long. We need to put it in storage. And I'd been like, cool, put it in storage. But like, obviously two people were not communicating, and that's not my job.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you weren't specific enough.
Apparently I wasn't. So next time I'll be very specific, and then they'll probably think like I'm talking to them like they're dumb and they don't know how to do their job. And then I'm going to be the asshole because of it.
Sometimes you got to be the asshole.
Yeah. Life lessons.
Yeah.
Life
So my second pet peeve, when you're communicating with somebody, let's say, I don't know, let's say you're going to hang out or let's say you're going to meet somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the morning, you say, let's do it at 1:00. You both agree, yeah, we're going to be there at 1:00. We're going to do this at 1:00. That person messages you, texts you, calls you, whatever, says, hey, I can't do 1:00. I'll let you know when I'll be available soon. And you say, okay. And then you agree on another time. And then they change that. And then they ask you, well, hey, what time works for you? It doesn't fucking matter what time works for me because obviously we're on your schedule. So why don't you just tell me what time is good?
You're a real prick. You know that.
Well, I'm just at that's what are you talking about?
You're a
Why am I
real,
a prick?
you're a
Why
real
am I a
prick.
prick? Why
Pointing,
am I a
pointing
prick?
that Pat's peeve at me. I knew that was coming.
Nobody said you. Nobody mentioned your name. Nobody
Yeah, but
pointed anything at you. You're
okay,
not the only person that does it. I'm
okay.
not saying it's you are very specific to that, but that's a pet peeve of mine. It's annoying. It's a pet
You know,
peeve.
I could see how that was frustrating today.
No, it's not a big deal.
Sounds like it is.
That's not a big deal. I was looking. There's no sweat off my back.
It sounds like you're sweating on your back pretty good.
My back is dry as a bone, baby. And to kind of tie into this Pat's peeve, I think these things are two sides of the same coin. When somebody asks your opinion, or if I say, "Hey Trey, do you want to go to Burger King or do you want to go to McDonald's?" And you answer, "Oh, I want to go to McDonald's." And then I say, "All right, let's go to Burger King." When somebody asks you what you want or your opinion on something, and then they immediately go with the other choice,
Yeah, that's annoying.
don't fucking ask me. Don't ask me.
Yeah, don't ask. Maybe suggest Burger King instead of giving me the option.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Well, that just happens all the time.
That
Like,
does
just
happen all the time.
through life. Like that happens a lot.
Yeah,
Never not annoying.
never not. All right. Well, this is my last Pat's peeve, and it's that my wife was out of town this weekend.
Mm.
I had nothing to do, no plans, just watch basketball, and this is the one year that Carolina loses in the first round, and I couldn't watch them throughout the whole weekend. The one weekend I get to watch all the March Madness games, my team shits the bed.
Yeah, that's tough.
I was upset.
Yeah. I mean, but you knew they weren't going to do well.
And they had a dog shit year.
You know, it's not like they were a number one seed and they lost. They were a playing team, but I get it. I understand your dilemma that you're in.
Can't have shit. The one year.
You can't have shit.
Can't have shit. But yeah, that wraps up my Pat's peeves.
Yeah. Oh, I got one other Pat's peeve. Something that I saw today. I was out and about walking. I think I might have been like walking in the neighborhood. I can't remember. It was like from my car or something. Maybe I just walked up the road because I was bored. When you're in a public area, aka maybe a neighborhood, apartment complex, whatever the case is, and you got some fucking prick walking his dog not on a leash. Super annoying. Although you might think that dog is well behaved. I don't know your fucking dog. Your dog comes up to me, I might shoot it. Yeah. Now I'm an asshole.
Now you're an asshole. I actually have a situation that happened yesterday that's pretty similar. I'm taking my dog on a run. Me and Kobe go for a 1.5 mile run. It's like the first time I've ever ran with him.
Yeah.
On his leash. He's doing good, just running right beside me. Everything's all good. We go out of the neighborhood, take a right onto like the little road that goes back there. It's basically in another neighborhood. Houses on both sides of the street, not a lot of traffic. And this German Shepherd comes flying out of the front door. I guess he like hit the handle in the storm door and comes out. Flying out of the front door and just barking and like charging at us. And I kind of like stop and like get in between my dog and this dog. Yeah. And give him a nice pointed knee to the dome piece. And this guy is like chasing his dog out of the front door and be like, hey, come back. And then I like knee the dog and he's like all butthurt that I hit his dog. And I'm like, he was freaking bolting at me and my 5-month-old puppy. Like, I'm gonna not let your dog. I don't know your dog. He just is screaming out of the door.
Your dog could be fucking violent. Your dog could attack me. You know, I don't know what's going on.
I wasn't running with my gun.
Yeah.
And then I had to tell him like, hey, I'm about to turn around up here and come back. So like, don't let this happen again. And he was, didn't like that, I guess, but he just went back in his house. But I mean, I don't think I was in the wrong in saying that.
No, I mean, you're not in the wrong at all. You weren't in his yard, right? You were in the
No,
road.
I was in the road.
Yeah, like anybody, like you let your dog roam around your yard with no leash. Like, look, if you got a Chihuahua, fucking whatever. Like, do what you want. You got a Rottweiler, German Shepherd, Pit Bull, like like. I'm not saying that dogs are inherently violent, which pit bulls are. They're inherently violent.
Genetically.
Genetically, they're just predisposed to committing acts of violence. Um, if you have a dog that's capable of severely harming somebody, keep it on a fucking leash. Keep your doors closed. Don't let it roam around. Don't let it walk around with no leash in a public area. It's just super inconsiderate.
I think yes. Especially in a public area, but like if it's your house, let's say it's your house and your dog is trained to where it does not go out of the yard. And there has never been an instance, like let's just say at my house, my dog is trained to stay in the yard, which Jazz will not leave the yard. Kobe absolutely will just fucking bolt anywhere.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't leave him out by himself. Jazz, though, I would leave out by herself. And my neighbor is upset that my dog is out in the yard, not on a leash, but the dog's in my yard and not doing anything to harm my neighbor, then I think that's totally fine.
If I have small children and they're out playing in the yard and my neighbor has a dog not on a leash in their yard, it's like a big dog. Because Jazz, obviously, I know Jazz. She's a fucking angel, right? But if I'm a neighbor, I have small children playing in the yard. My neighbor has their dog that I don't really know. I mean, I might have encountered it a couple of times, but I don't like that.
That's not your place to not like,
You're not my
friend.
place. You're not my place. But then again, also, if your dog comes into my yard and maybe
That's
gets
different.
too close to my kids,
You're
and it
you're
leaves,
fully entitled to in that dog's life.
yeah. But now I'm the bad guy. Now I'm the asshole that killed your dog, and you want to get all upset with me.
That's not your
But
problem anymore.
I guess.
But like, even if it was Roxy, say I had Roxy, and Roxy just stays in the yard, never would go outside the yard, then there's nothing wrong, I don't think, with her being in the yard. Now we're into the street. Once the dog steps in the street, okay, that's not cool.
So you don't think there's any possible scenario where Jazz would leave the yard?
No,
Never.
not unless it was me calling her out of the yard.
Yeah. So like if I was in the street and I had some steaks, she wouldn't leave the yard. If I
Nope.
had just a pound of bacon sizzling and she could smell it, she wouldn't leave the yard.
She would not leave the yard. If you had another dog, if you had a cat, if you had it, literally in zero scenario where Jazz would leave the confines of the yard.
I think you need to test this. I really do. I think this has turned into a hypothesis against the innate desires of a canine.
We could try it. She would be scared is the reason.
She would be scared.
She's very timid.
Yeah, well, she's old.
But even when we got her, she was 4. Like,
Yeah.
She's just like, if we're not out there with her, it's because she's going to take a piss and coming right back to the door. Like,
Okay.
She would absolutely not. She's just like, she knows where her safe spaces are. She knows who her safe people are. And like, even if somebody comes in the house, most dogs are like, what's going on? Who's in my house? Jazz cowers in the bedroom. Could be the friendliest person that comes into the house. She'll look and be like, I don't know that person. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, Jazz is an outlier.
She's an outlier. Yeah.
She's an outlier.
Yes. That's just, obviously I can't do that with Kobe because Kobe's a maniac.
Kobe's getting that bacon.
Kobe's getting that bacon. You don't even have to have bacon. If you're just another person, right now he thinks all people are nice. So he's like, person, oh, let me go lick them to death.
Yeah.
So you can't do that with him.
He doesn't know that some people are assholes, huh?
Yeah. All right. Well, you got any closing comments?
I I mean, I really don't have any comments to make aside from go goat team.
Go goat team.
It I'm up 100, still up 112 points.
All right.
He's got, let's say all, let's say nobody scores another point and I finish 112 points. He's got SGA, Norman Powell, and Zubac to play at 10 o'clock. So do those three people score 112 points?
Likely no. Not
I don't
impossible.
know. Not impossible, but not impossible.
Right.
You know, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Next time I come on the pod, it might be a two-time champ.
Might be a 2-time.
Something to think about. You know, might be two-time.
We'll have to get you on if you do a 2-time. We'll have to get Wes on if he's a repeat champion. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's no realm or alternate universe where that can be allowed to happen. Back to back champs. It can't happen.
Talk about head getting beat.
Yeah. We'll never hear the end of it.
No, I have a funny story to tell as a closing comment, but we were out at the obstacle course, and me being the nice guy that I am, I sent my XO, so like one of the second lieutenants that works with us, I sent him to go get coffee and donuts for everybody. I gave him my card and told him to get whatever he wants for breakfast as like payment for going to get coffee and donuts. And he's like, okay, dozen donuts, box of Joe, and a Boston cream pie. And
That's
lost
what
it.
he wanted.
And I was like, first of all, never say that again.
Emphasis on the cream.
Cream pie. Oh man. But yeah, I got a nice chuckle out of that and needed to share it with somebody.
Where's he from?
I have no idea.
Is he like a northerner?
I don't know. Maybe.
No.
Maybe. All right, but yeah, closing comment. Anybody but Duke.
Anybody but Duke. Florida's anybody but Duke.
Let's ride, baby.
Fuck it.
All right, dude. Well, it's good having you on. Thanks for saving the day, and Tyler's out of town. Until next time, hopefully we're talking to you when you're a 2-time champ.
Yeah, next Sunday night, hopefully I'll be on the pod telling you how I'm up by 400 points. And it's a easy chip.
All right.
We'll
Sounds
see.
Good. Well, I'll see you then.
See ya.